Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. We're going to be here looking at this tank, which is the AMX CDC. Now, an update has been released for Blitz, which introduces the French tanks, or the French tech tree at least. So, as you can see, starting from the Renault FT up to the AMX 50B. And it's been out for a day now. This is the February the 23rd, 2017. It's been out for a day and I've already seen someone with the Tier 9 AMX 5120. Yeah, I've already seen someone in this thing. Yeah, someone must have had a lot of free XP saved up in order to actually have this thing already. So, it's probably a good guess to think that they also have this thing as well, already unlocked and in their garage. So obviously, somebody liked the French a hell of a lot and also had a lot of free XP spare. But along with it, they brought in a new premium tank. This one is the AMX CDC. And there are two ways of getting the CDC. You've got the Lost Division, which instead of being a mission marathon, it's instead you get, from your missions, you will get things such as intel. Or, well, you do get intel, and intel can be used in exchange for these things, which are sets of containers. And in the premium shop, you can also buy these sets of containers. You've got the set of containers, Allies 3 and 1, because with this French update, they have released for 21 days a chance of getting the IS-2, the FCM50T, and the AMX CDC. And the CDC was the one that I was the most excited for. So you can also get, as you can see, set of containers, France AMX CDC. So you can get the CDC by itself from these containers if you're lucky. But the reason I wanted the CDC is because you can get the IS-2, and you can get the AMX, or you can also get the FCM50T. And so there's the IS-2. You can also purchase the legendary camouflages for them. You can get the Berlin camouflage for the IS-2. You can get the Zizou or the TT for the FCM50T. Or you can get the Liberty skin for the AMX CDC. So I didn't really want the IS-2 because I have it on World of Tanks PC. I don't really want the 50T because, well, I don't really like these football legendary camos. But I did want the AMX CDC. So what I did before work, went to the premium shop, saw that the French update had been released and that they've got these sets of containers, and so I thought, I'll try my luck. I'll buy 10 of these containers for the AMX CDC. See if I can get the CDC. If not, then I'll just, near the end of it, I'll just try and get it as much as possible. So I got one of these. This is the smallest one you can get, by the way, because I just thought, we'll try a small one, see what I get. Set of 10 containers. The second one I opened, I got the CDC. So, I got the CDC on the second container I opened, which is really, really epic. That was really lucky. And so, here it is with the Liberty Warpaint for the AMX CDC. Doesn't change it to the CDC Liberty, unfortunately. But it looks cool. And I think we can all agree that it looks better than this. Although Mint Candy sort of looks alright on it, but definitely the Liberty, because as you can see, this just looks epic with it on. So, yeah, the French have been released. I've seen someone with the Tier 9, probably with the Tier 10 already with them. And, yeah, so we're going to be looking at the CDC. So the CDC is a Tier 8 premium, well, pretty rare actually, yeah, medium tank. So, how does it compare to something like the Type 59? Well, let's have a look, shall we? So, let me convert free XP actually, there we go. So, 27% protection, 64% firepower, 90% shot effectiveness, and 88% maneuverability. Something that I would like to point out is that it feels like a very big medium tank. As you can see, here's the CDC. There's the Glacial 112, there's the KV5. So it's not quite as big as the KV5, but I think maybe even the IS-3 Defender is smaller than the AMX CDC. This is a huge tank, and it feels like it when you drive it. But starting off here, 1,250 hit points. So 1,250. Let's compare it to the Type 59, which gets 1,300. Let's just have a look at something else, such as... do I actually have a German medium tank research tier 8? I probably don't. Nah. But let's have a look at the Panther 2. Panther 2 I think gets 1,300, so... Oh no, 1,450, sorry, for the Panther 2. So, quite frankly, the CDC has got one of the lowest amount of HP for a tier 8 medium. Combine that with its terrible armour of 30 front, 20 side and rear hull armour, 30 front, 20 side and rear turret armour means that this thing is very, very fragile. A low amount of HP for a tier 8 medium and no armour to boot. It's definitely not going to bounce anything, and if you get spotted you will be killed very, very quickly. However, the manoeuvrability is very good on this tank. As you can see, it weighs 34 tons. However, it does have a 1,200 horsepower engine, which means that it gets a 57 km/h speed limit. It also gets a pretty quick acceleration speed. Combine that with good hull traverse of 42.11 degrees per second, plus 40 degrees per second, 40.53 even degrees per second turret traverse, means that this thing is the pinnacle of mobility, as you can tell by the 88% maneuverability. So, yeah, compared to something like the Type 59, which only gets a 58% maneuverability, this thing feels very sluggish in comparison to the CDC, because this is definitely the definition of a flanking medium tank. It's got no armour, but a very good power to weight, with good acceleration and a very good top speed and maneuverability. So that's the bonus of the CDC, which is that it's very mobile, even if it is very large. So there's the engine that it gets, a Maybach HL 295F, 1,200 horsepower, 15% chance of air and impact. There's the suspension it gets, the suspension AMX Chasseau de Chars, or Chasseau de Chars, I don't know. Either way, CDC. There's the turret of it, which has got 30-20-20, 40.53, 255 meters view range, which is meh, it's alright. As for the suspension, it's actually got a pretty good load limit, 37.80 tons. But now we come to the gun, which is a very good gun for a tier 8 medium. It's a 90mm AC DCA 45, which has got a 9.74 round per minute, which means that it reloads pretty quick. I've got it down to 6.2 seconds, so yeah, good rate of fire, very good average penetration, 212, 259 with APCR, 45 with high explosive. The average damage is pretty good as well, 225 with AP and APCR, 270 with high explosive. Very good accuracy, 0.31 accuracy, that's amazing accuracy, plus a very rapid aim time, 3.9 seconds. So the gun is definitely something firing on the move worthy, but then again, also something that's pretty good at sniping, so you could play this thing like a long-range sniper if you wanted. So yeah, it's a very good 90mm gun mounted on this, so it's a very mobile chassis with a good gun on it. However, it's got no armour and a low amount of HP for its tier. It does, however, carry 90 rounds of ammunition, so you can blaze away as quick as possible. Plus, with this new update with the French, they've changed all of the models for you know, the equipment. As you can see, the equipment all looks different, as do the provisions, as do the consumables. So, as for provisions, you've got standard and improved fuel for +3 or 10% respectively to engine power and turret traverse. You've got canned pate or hot coffee for +3 or 10% respectively to crew mastery, only for French vehicles. And then you've got protective kit, which is 15% protection of crew from injuries, 10% speed and module repair, 20% fire protection, and 10% ammo and fuel tank durability. So there's that. So obviously the pate and the hot coffee are restricted only to French vehicles. And then we come to the equipment fit. So as for equipment fit, I've gone with gun rammer, improved vents, and a vertical stabilizer. Because this thing is very good at firing on the move, so vertical stabilizer is a definite. Enhanced gun lane drive, you don't really need it. I mean, it's got a very, very good aim time, so you don't really need the enhanced gun lane drive. Gunner armor is always nice to have. Improved vents to increase that maneuverability further, as you can see. It got my traverse speed and my turret traverse up, and you know, all of this good stuff. So, just general buffs. That's always nice. And then you've got there you go, wet ammo rack and tanks filled with CO2 for plus 50% of fuel or ammo durability. Fuel or ammo rack durability, yeah. So in case you keep getting set on fire or having your ammo rack damaged, then there's that. Enhanced suspension, plus 30% to suspension durability. In case you don't want your suspension to keep getting blown off, then, I mean, there's that. So, I mean, yeah, you could go with that if you wanted. As for camo and binos, this gun, the gun that it gets, does sort of suit a sniping tank destroyer sort of role. So, if you wanted to be cheeky, then you could go with binos and camo net. However, you really are a flanking sort of medium. You're a very mobile flanking medium, so yeah. If you want to play cheeky, then you could go with camo and binos, but if you want the improved view range but don't want binos, then you've obviously got coated optics. Spooliner, no, you have no armor to speak of, useless, don't bother with it. And then toolbox, 25% speed of module repairs. That's always just a useful thing to mount, so I mean, yeah, there's that. As for the consumables, I've gone with the repair kit, first aid kit, fire extinguisher. Then you've got engine power boost, which gives 20% to engine power for 15 seconds with a 75-second cooldown. Adrenaline, 20% to low speed, 10% chance for damaging enemy vehicle modules for 15 seconds with a 75-second cooldown. And then you've got the multi-purpose restoration pack, which does all these three things rolled into one. So you may be thinking, why don't you just mount one of these and have those two, because then you don't have to bother with having these three taking up all your slots. And the reason for that is what I say in every review, and if you've seen any of my other Blitz reviews, you'll know what I'm about to say, so you can skip over this. But the reason I go with all three of these individually is because, say your track gets blown off and you need to get out of there, so you use your multi-purpose restoration pack and off you go, because you have one of these, adrenaline and engine power boost. So you burn your multi-purpose restoration pack, boof, now as a 90-second cooldown, you drive off. 10 seconds later you get hit, set on fire. What do? You can't put it out because you've used this thing, it still has about 80 seconds left on its cooldown. So what do? You keep burning, which is why I prefer to go with the repair kit, and then if you get hit again and be set on fire, then the auto fire extinguisher will go off and put out the fire for you, which is something which this one doesn't do. So yeah, that's why I go with these three consumables laid out like this instead of one of these and a couple of these. They do have their points, but I just prefer to have these three here just in case. So that really is it. There's not much I can say about the skills, because Blitz does crew skills differently, but overall it's a very good medium tank. It is very large, I do have to say that. The camo is not good. Well, the camo is good for such a large thing, but even so, it is still just a large tank. I mean, look at the Tiger 2 compared to it. Yeah. The IS-6 compared to it as well. I mean, the IS-6 may actually have better camo value than this. So, I mean, yeah. For the actual camo, the camo is good, but the actual size of the vehicle just seems like too big to be, frankly, a medium. If they just put loads of armor on this thing, it would probably work decently as a heavy tank. But as it is, it doesn't, and it's just a very, very fast medium tank. But yeah, so that's the AMX CDC with the Liberty War Paints applied to it, which is very nice. So yeah, the CDC, I'll thank you for watching.